Okay, so thank you for tuning in. This is Spiritual Sense. It is October the 21st. It's a Thursday. And I'm doing this podcast, Spiritual Sense, today. I'm going to do a tarot card reading. Actually, I'm going to do two tarot card readings. And I'm using my $5 tarot card that I got from Five and Below, The Secrets of Tarot. So, as I mentioned before, previously, when I do my tarot card reading, 9 times out of 10, I don't know what I'm doing the tarot reading on. And so, as I begin to get a little bit more clarity, then I start getting information that flashes in as to what the tarot card reading is about. So before I go into my tarot card reading, I'm going to say a brief prayer. Father, Supreme Being of all being, guide me through this tarot card reading that I'm about to do today. I don't know what the reading is on, but I do feel like it's not an urgent message, but just for informational purposes. I also like to state my disclaimer. This podcast is for entertainment purposes. That means it is, if it just so happened that some of the information that I mentioned on this particular podcast, is in correlation against what you believe or what you believe, is just by happenstance. I don't speak to anybody. I don't provide any personal readings. I do not charge for these readings. This is just simply for entertainment purposes. And I will leave it at that. So I do my tarot card reading a little bit differently than the average person. It's going on 3 years since I've been doing tarot card reading. And I just began to pick the cards back up within the last month, because I had put them down for like a couple of months. So I get spiritually led oftentimes to come in and do a reading on whatever the case may be. Oftentimes when I do a reading, it could be a personal reading, but I don't have like a one-on-one reading that I do with people. I don't charge for readings. It could be on a situation or some type of clarity or insight on something. Okay. Also, so I do several spreads when I do my tarot card reading. My most popular one that I do is the 10 card Celtic cross spread, which comprises of 10 card spread. I also do a 1, 2, 3, 4, or even a 5 card spreads on occasion. It may be something that I, need clarity on, and I may just come pull 1 card, 2, 3, 4, 5. Typically, if I do a Celtic cross reading, I may pull out my angelic cards for clarity. So I have a total of about 5 cards. These here are my most favorite ones. These are the $5 cards that I got from Five and Below. So these cards I've been working with since I bought them, which was about, I say 2 months ago, maybe a month ago. I want to say it's been about 2 months ago, maybe 3. And these are my most favorite cards. Number one, the price, but the information is very informative information. But if you are somebody that's looking to get into tarot card readings, I find that your reading is more comprehensive or more in depth if you incorporate all of your cards into the reading. Now, some cards I feel are not made to be read, such as the angelic cards. Like, those cards are for insight and clarity. So I don't feel like a Celtic cross. I mean, you possibly could use the angelic cards to do a Celtic cross, but for me and the readings that I do, I use the angelic cards for more clarity. I find that These cards, as well as my Psycho Tarot deck and my AE Weight cards, are best for doing a 10 card spread. The Moonology cards, they are good, but I think the Moonology cards is like an addition to whatever main card that you're using. Kind of like the angelic cards, but a little bit more clarity, but not as much clarity as if you was using these cards, the AE Weight cards, or even the Psycho Tarot deck cards. And that's just my, personal opinion. So when you begin to get off into tarot card reading, oftentimes you can read a card such as this here. You can read that card verbatim, or you may be able to just study the card, and whatever formulates in your psyche in relation to that card. This card here, for those who may be listening in as opposed to tuning in. So I have the Queen of Swords pulled up here. It's a lady that's of statue, and she has a sword. It says woman over 25 years, brown eyes, brown hair, cold, hard, demanding authority. So you may take that as a representation of some type of feminine authority. You may take this as, a feminine side to something spiritual, a spiritual leader, or however you would denounce that card. You may actually look at the actual card and, study it and begin to focus on the sword. So it's all in how it ties into, the reading. Now, I've said this over and over again. Many people frown upon tarot cards and, say that's root work or devil worship and things like that. But it's all in what you make it. It's all in what you make it. If it's evil, then that evil it shall be. That's why I have to constantly say for entertainment purposes, because even if I decide to Skype and do a tarot card reading, I can interpret the card for you, but ultimately I will hold the card up and have you to tell me, what do you get from this card? And as it all comprises together, I will give you my analysis of how I would interpret that card. Okay? So I think it's all subjective through the eyes of subjectivity. But, if you ask God for clarity and insight, it should be on point. Okay? So now I will begin. Now, before I begin, let me just backtrack. The 10 card spread, again, card 1 is going to be on what? The person you're doing the reading on. It could be on it could be a self-reading. It could be on a situation that are bottled with. It also can be some insight or illumination on a variety of things. Card 2 is going to be the barrier. What is holding you back for that particular situation or knowledge or obstacle. Card 3 is what are you trying to attain? What are you trying to achieve within that particular reading? Card 4 is going to be the root, the issue of the reading. Card 5 is going to be the near past or what is occurring now. Card 6 is what is occurring now or what will be transpiring. Card 7 is the attitude. Card 8 is the morale or the physical surroundings of like what do you physically see around this person. Card 9 is going to be hopes, fears, and dreams. And then card 10 is going to be what? The outcome. And if you're doing your reading and You still kind of don't, because typically things will start to flash to you as you become more and more confident in doing your readings. I say by the fifth card. Card 7, 8, 9, and 10 is going to give you a little bit more insight. Once you reach your outcome, if there's still some fuzziness about, okay, how to tie everything together, then you want to begin to gather your additional cards for clarity. It may be a 1, 2, 3, 4, or even a 5 card spread. And as I mentioned, that's why I use my angelic cards for. So let me begin. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then 1. So, excuse me. This reading that I'm doing on today, number 1, it is the High Priestess. Typically, when I get that card, it's in relation to, hey, something religious-based, faith-based. So right now, I have the Priestess card. It says, highest card in the tarot deck, very powerful, good or bad, secrets to be revealed. Like I said, it depends on how the reading goes. It could be more personal, meaning on a more smaller scale. It could be, seeing things on a bigger scale, a bigger picture of things. The barrier card 2, I have 9 of Pentacles. Peace of mind and contentment. So I show that this is a barrier, like this is an obstacle. Peace of mind and contentment is what I show. Card 3. The World card. This is where you're trying to attain. So this could be a situation where the religious groups are trying to reach out to the world in relation to an issue. And we're going to proceed with the next card as to what that issue is. So I have, this is what they're trying to attain, meaning this is what they're trying to reach out to, the world. It says, overseas trip, money, luck, world, in the palm of your hand, new opportunities. Card 4, I have the Sun. Now, if you begin to study this card, you notice that it's a young child, male child that's there. And you also have the Sun there as well. So, you can take that card and you can say, okay, this is the issue, the youth. You can also take that card and say, this is the issue, illumination or insight or awareness. So it's all based on how you want to interpret that card. There's several different ways of interpreting that card right there. So I'm going to proceed to read. Now, you also could take note of the number. You may want to read the number off of that card. Maybe that's significant. You may want to study, what's going on within the card as well. It says marriage, happiness, and bright prospects. So I'm going to go with bright prospects. This is insight or illumination. So right now, it looks like the religious leaders around the world are looking to shed some light. I said this, a couple of readings ago. They're looking to shed light on whatever the situation is. But there seems to be an issue with illumination or insight. I also mentioned in the last reading that I did that I felt like, and this was spiritually led, like I felt led and compelled to do that reading. And that reading led me to know that the agnostic and the atheist movement was very, very booming and prevalent worldwide. And I continue to believe that as we speak. That the agnostic, now hear me out. I am not encouraging any of this behavior. Okay. When I do spirit work, it's just to keep my house protected and shielded from any injury, harm, danger, unforeseen events. But you have some people out there that are looking to cause these injury, harm, and danger to people for whatever case it may be. I got too many things on my plate to be concerned about hurting the next individual. I really do. Okay, so to my left, as I mentioned, to my left is going to be what? What's occurring now or what occurred in the past. I have the Emperor card. When I pull the Emperor card, it's in relation to employment, job. It could be economically. It says stability or stabilizing influence coming into your life. Is what it has here. So I showed that a lot of this is in relation to, and as I mentioned before, some social economic concerns, particularly with employment, wages, your everyday walks of life things. Card 6, I have King of Pentacles. Now, that card could also mean that a lot of these alliances, as I mentioned previously, when I said about, the agnostic and atheist movement was booming right now within a certain age group. So it could very well be that a lot of the alliances or the joining together is occurring in a lot of these employment related groups, such as jobs or committees and things of that nature. Now, this card here is number 6. Number 6 is what's occurring now or will be to come. So I have the King of Pentacles. It says man of 25 years, and it goes into business, arrogance, and power. So I because I'm doing this reading, not a personal reading, it's more or less on a bigger scale. I show that these individuals that they're looking to attain power. And I do show that a lot of church leaders, be it may, everybody's not on the same page. And what I mean by that is, you have different entities that are within, religious organization, sets. And when I say set, I mean SECTS, sets, which is like a break off of a religious or a belief system. I showed that the elder population, many of them are encouraging these behaviors. And that's what the fight to the fittest is, because you have some that are truly trying to save and rescue a lot of these dark entities and dark forces that plagues worldwide. But then you have the stragglers who are encouraging these behaviors. So I do show that this right here is a representation of those dark forces who are encouraging those behaviors. Okay, so it's kind of like I mentioned a joining of forces, good versus bad, or right versus wrong. So right now I show the attitude is this. Wheel of Fortune. Elevation of money, overseas trips, completion phases. So I feel like that a lot of this is being perpetuated by money. I honestly do. I feel like a lot of this dark coming to their own agnostic and atheist movement is being financed. I do. And this is what it is. And it's going to be unveiled and it's going to be unleashed. So I have the Devil card. This is what's surrounding the Devil card. Jealousy or trouble, able to break the chain that are binding you or holding you back. So I feel like this is their attitude. They're surrounded by a lot of evil. They're surrounded by people that are trying to hold them at, or groups that are trying to hold them back. And as I mentioned, these are spiritual what? These are spiritual beings. These are demonic forces, is what that is. And so when a person feels compelled to try to survive and fight to the fittest, they will turn to whatever means as possible to keep that keep afloat or keep ahead. But this Devil card is a card that I very rarely pull. I'll be honest about it. And it's so funny how, as you sat here and saw that I scrambled these cards, I'm not a shuffler. But I scrambled the cards and I did a prayer, and it lays as it may. It does. And if you begin to pay attention to the cycle of life and how life coincides with one another, you will begin to see that is how life is. It is simply as that. Card 9. Now, card 9 is what? The Hopes, Fears, and Dreams card. So for card 9, I have Page of Swords. It says, young woman to 25, spying or deception, reflecting back over your shoulder. So I feel like a lot of them are in fear right now. Like they feel the need to defend themselves. They feel the need to defend themselves. They feel the need to protect themselves. And this is why a lot of them are turning to these dark entities and dark forces, because they no longer trust. I mean, sometimes you can't even trust the air you breathe, the ground you walk on. I said that before. And so a lot of them, for protection, are turning to these dark forces. The outcome. So the outcome I have to this is what? Knight of Pentacles. It says, young man to 25, visitor's message to share. So I feel like in this journey that we call life, many of people, this life experience, are put here for certain reasons. And many of times we don't get that niche or that aha or that epiphany until a certain amount of time. Like we are shielded from that until it comes to the surface. Oh, this is what this is. So I say with card 10, the outcome, messengers. This is it. Meaning this is it. This is how it happens. The fantasy, the drama and all, this is it right here. This is it. Okay, so I'm finished with that reading. I think that was a very good reading that I just did. It was a very good reading in relation to what is plaguing us in society and as well as all over the world. A very good reading. Now I'm going to proceed with my next reading. Again with my The Secrets of the Tarot cards, 5 books at 5 and below. So I'm going to try to do a good scramble, and then I'm going to proceed with my next reading. Now, a lot of my readings, can be repetitive, but I think even though the main topic is repetitive, there is some variances and things to focus on with each reading. So, although it may be repetitious, it's not mundane, to say the least. Okay, so we're going to proceed. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then 1. So again, I have no inclination as to what I'm doing the reading on. I proceed with the cards and I begin to, as I reach card 6, then that's when it began to get more clarity. And I get, full understanding once I get to card 7, 8, 9, 10. So card 1, I have 10 of Cups. It says happiness, good things, party or celebration. So this is what I'm doing the reading on now. The Barrier. 8 of Pentacles, work, paid work. Number 3. Excuse me. 10 of Wands. Weighed down with problems, very heavy load. 4, the Star. Brightness, hope could bring excesses, so be careful not to become too greedy. Okay. So I'm going to turn those cards over so I can make sure I stay abreast to what this reading is going. Okay, so this right here is the near past or what's occurring now. All that glitters is not gold. Look beyond the clouds, money improvements. When I pull this card here, oftentimes it's in relation to deception, deceit, or illusion. And then I proceed to card 6, which is Ace of Swords, frustration, double-ended sword, hollow victory. Okay, so in pulling this card here, to me it appears that this reading, I feel like it's for a particular industry. Now, when I did my tarot card reading, I said a couple of days ago, actually I did a dream interpretation, spiritual sense episode. So if you're tuning in or will be tuning in, you might want to check that out. But it was a dream interpretation reading. It was weighed on my heart to get that reading out, because as I'm laying in the bed, it's just images just start. So I began to get up and just write, and that's when it all came into focus. Now, I also like to make it be known, this podcast is optional as well as the YouTube channel. So if it's something on here that I say that offend you, you can turn it off. I feel like this right here is in relation to a particular health industry. Excuse me, not health industry. Industry. Now if you go back and to my dream interpretation podcast that I did, it's about a dream that I had at the age of 16. And it's one of few dreams that I actually can recount almost down to the, finest detail. And I received full revelation as to what that dream was talking about. Because along the way, I got inclinations. But it came to the focus for me a couple of days ago. And I did the podcast dream interpretation. I'm one of those ones, I've always been into psychics and paranormal and dream interpretation, dream journaling, and things like that. So this is nothing new to me. But I do feel like this reading is kind of like a spin-off of that dream interpretation spiritual sense episode that I did. And I said it was the 7 industries of deception. 7 industries of deception is what I said. So Let me just pull card 7 to get a little bit more clarity. I have the Moon card here. It says deception or delays, emotions up or down, maybe deceiving yourself emotionally or others. So this right here is card 7. Card 8, Ace of Pentacles, money coming, divine wish being granted. This is what you're being surrounded by. I'm going to put it out there because when I mentioned, let me grab my book here. When I said about the 7 industries of deception, those was the 7 that came about in relation to the reading that I did. But this reading here is letting me know there's one more you need to talk about. And many people are aware of it and they don't want, you know, they want it to be put out. And that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm not judging nobody, baby. I'm not. I'm just going to read the cards as I may. That's what I'm going to do. But it says that other reading is church related. This is what a lot of the agnostic and atheist movement is about. It is agnostic and atheist movement that's transpiring because a lot of people are falling away from what they once believed and no longer believe those things. So I'm just going to put it out there, and I don't want any, threats or smart remarks or whatever. These are my opinions. I'm not the first nor the last person who feels this way about religious organizations and groups. Okay? But that is basically what this reading is about. In terms of the industries of deception, religious organizations is one. Okay? So I have card 9. It has Queen of Pentacles. Now, again, card 9 is what? Hopes, fears, and dreams. Hopes, fears, and dreams. It says woman over 25. Dark eyes and dark hair, professional, business, domineering. So I feel like that they intimidate people in that particular industry. They make them feel shame and shunned for the very same things that they're doing. And as a result of those feelings, I think people make decisions that they, without thinking about it. Without even thinking about it. Without even giving much thought. Because a lot of them come together. They band against those people. And they manipulate and brainwash them. Is what I feel. Now we have card 10. It says, and as I mentioned, card 10 is what? The outcome. King of Swords, man over 25, brown eyes, brown hair, cold, abrasive, demands respect. So this is what I feel. I feel like you have a lot of abuse and self-perpetuating guilt and shame that has been brought upon a lot of people within these religious organizations. And as a result, people are